Welcome to Elevate with Elsner. Join us for inspiring conversations with individuals who have transformed their lives and are making a difference through the work that they do. And now, here's your host, Blake Elsner.
Welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Elsner. I'm your host, Blake Elsner, and today we have a special guest who's making a significant impact in the world of small business marketing. Joining us is Chris Vandehey, the owner, co-founder, CEO of Connect Video. Chris and his team are dedicated to helping small businesses save time and attract customers through video. They understand the challenges small businesses face, from affordability and content creation to professional filming, editing, and audience targeting. Chris's expertise is truly some of the top in St. Louis and really around the country. Their services make it easier for a business to consistently achieve the best results. I've done numerous videos through Chris, and they are tremendous. He films them, edits them, cuts them, does whatever with them, gives them to me, and all I got to do is post them onto my social platforms. And let me tell you, they get thousands and thousands of views. So let me welcome Chris. We're thrilled to have you to the show. Welcome to Elevate with Elsner, Chris.
Hey, yeah, no, thanks for having me, and thanks for the kind regards and warm introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you're here because we've had a lot of talks together over the course of doing video, and I honestly started video for the first time in my real estate through you. So you technically my first marketing video was through you, and I laugh. I think about on how much I've grown and how much even you've grown and what you've produced. So
nice when I can take somebody's video virginity.
Yeah, that's right. I need to. It's just like Allison took my headshot virginity card too. I go, it's my first headshot. It's your first headshot? Yeah, I go, yeah. I'm like, absolutely. I'm a millennial. What do you expect?
But the video virginity is much more alliterative than headshot.
Yeah.
There's probably something else we could say there that has shot in it, but we'll save that for the rated R version.
Yeah, that's right. Luckily, we got the E on the podcast, so we're good.
Hey,
So anyway, hey, can you share what initially sparked your passion for video and production? Because you've been doing it a while. So what led you to this?
Yeah, so it's pretty much been my entire life. I found my parents' old VHS video camera in the closet at our old house when I was 6. And went out, took it outside. I was like, what is this thing? This is cool. Just bored on a summer day or something like that, and went outside and started filming wildlife in their backyards, like grasshoppers and bats and whatever else I could find. And then that kind of evolved to hey, maybe we should, get a new camera, for the family or whatever. This is back in the, I guess, late 90s. And and they were like, oh, let's get a new video camera because that's what everybody did. You film birthday parties and stuff because it's a new thing. And, we upgraded the camera. And the next thing you know, we're making movies with the neighborhood kids, running around and getting all them corralled to be in various movies, of course, basically a camera on a tripod with us saying stuff in front of it. They're all terrible, obviously, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And that kept going. And then, everybody got into extreme sports and, middle school, high school, biking, skateboarding, all that kind of stuff. So I was filming some of that stuff and then making videos at my high school, and then kind of hey, I actually want to, make this a career. So I started taking classes that were more geared towards, go out to Hollywood and being a director and a writer and all this kind of stuff. And, then I got out of high school, was going to college, knocking out some general education here in the Alton area. And I was getting ready to go to Webster University here in St. Louis. And my film teacher or video production teacher at the college I was going to knock out my general education stuff, we turned we had to make a commercial for a product. And I made a shake weight video and attached a phallic looking toy to the top of it, and that it shot out the protein at the end of the workout. And they all kind of liked that. And he was like, hey, this was really well done. You need to meet this guy, Michael Gebbin. He does a lot of video stuff in the Alton area and St. Louis and stuff. Went and had lunch with this Michael guy. And I'm like, I don't know, 20 at the time, I guess, and found out that not only did they support the local business community in St. Louis area, but they also did a lot of projects for like some pretty influential people in like the personal development and business space, like Tim Ferriss and Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and many, many others. And interned with them, and that became a day job. Realized that I didn't have to go to Hollywood to tell good stories and to make a living. And they were like, hey, if you want a job here, you can come here and you can skip going to film school, and we'll give you real world knowledge. And instead of having $100,000 in debt, we can actually pay you to learn. And I was like, hey, that sounds way better. So I got started in the career a little bit earlier than some of my friends that went to film school, and then just stayed in the area. Never went to Hollywood or California or anything like that. And I'm kind of blessed for that, nowadays, because of how things have, changed out there after 2020 and all that kind of stuff. So, and just kind of where they're going with certain things and whatnot. And the industry is kind of changing and evolving, and movie theaters are dying and all that kind of stuff. So art is changing in general. But yeah, and then in 2012, started my own video production company called Kinetic Visuals, doing events and stuff like that. And then left the previous video production company in like 2014, focused fully on my own thing. And then in 2019, we decided like, hey, let's kind of maybe shut this event stuff down. Worked away my entire 26 days a week. We did a lot of like weddings and events and conferences and stuff like that. So 25 out of the, or 30 even of the 52 good weekends are taken up, by weddings. And then you miss a lot of life and parties and all that kind of stuff. And, people growing up and everything. And then from there, in 2020, we were like, hey, let's shut down this company. And then that all hit. And we started Connect Video after I met Nick and Vanessa. In 2018, I think I met them. And then in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, we started Connect Video. Used to be called Connect Marketing, and then closed down my other company, Kinetic Visuals. And then I went full on this and have been kind of ramping back up after 2020 with a bunch of new processes and services and kind of innovative ideas and stuff. So that's the long answer. My entire life, I guess, is the short.
Yeah, that was a spectacular synopsis right there. I got to say, as a kid, I remember kids coming up to me and going, "Hey, we're filming like Scream movie or like our own Scream, like
right.
Our own like horror movie or something, and you want to be in it." The guy that gets his head, you know exactly what I mean. But that type of stuff. And I'm like, now I think about it, I had a very similar upbringing, but instead of going and continuing to film those people as they went into sports, I went into sports, I guess. And that's kind of interesting that you had a true passion from the beginning. Yeah. And you can tell when you're, just the way you do it, you love what you do too.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. It's not just a job, right? It's something I truly care about. And it's more, having to adapt what I love into, I guess like the business space, and telling stories and everything like that. So it comes at a bunch different angles. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, exactly. That's the idea, right? Not many people know what they want to do for their entire life at the age of 6. You know what I mean? And half the time, like people go into college not knowing what they're going to do, and they end up doing something completely different than what they went to school for. I think there's a statistic that says the average person is going to have 6 careers in their lifetime. So it's wild.
Wow. And that's tough to do, because when you're leaving high school and someone's going to offer you a job like that, obviously in society back then, people are like, go to college, go to college, go to college. And I'm sure you had to, fend off some, talk of people going, well, Chris isn't going to college. Chris isn't doing this. And now you go, now look at Chris. Like, I
don't have $100,000 in debt and a liberal arts degree. I made money and have a real world degree. School of Hard Knocks, baby. So there's certain things that school is obviously great for: doctor, lawyer, nurse, general practitioner. There's certain jobs, that you definitely should go to school for. But anymore with how technology is, and I was on the forefront of it, I guess. But video exploded in 2016, and now with the advent of TikTok and, what you can do on your phone. One of the people I film with on a monthly basis, their son came to me with their cell phone. They have this app called CapCut. And he was like, hey, how do I add subtitles to this? And I picked it up and I looked at it. I was like, man, this user interface is so intuitive. I was able to figure out how to put, subtitles on there in 20 seconds. And I showed him how. And I was like, bro, if I had this when I was, how old are you, kid? 7, like everything would be different. We were freaking making, this is just at the changeover to going digital. Because I think Saving Private Ryan in 1999 was the last film that was cut non-digital. So it was linear editing. And it was actually film reel-to-reel editing, and it was the changeover, and we would literally build a PowerPoint with credits on it, and then just film the screen with the camera because we didn't know how to make digital credits, when we were 8.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, thinking that's probably why, in part, why you can pivot and adapt to an industry that is constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's a wild, definitely a wild industry when it comes to video and opinions and how you should do things and how you should, put captions. You should have put captions, what your backdrop
what format's in, if it's landscape or vertical, that kind of stuff. So, how you change it over, what grabs attention, how it's edited, the music, all that kind of stuff. There's so many different things, and it's always changing. And some of these kids now making these videos are they're kicking ass with it, like they're awesome. Like I said, it exploded in all these, different full-time filmmakers and all these like online courses and YouTube University and all that kind of stuff. People can learn a lot from it. It's funny. I'll hear people talk about how they're going to get into video and stuff like that. And it's like, I've literally dedicated my entire life to this and I still don't know everything. You're going to try to be a painter and a video guy. Have fun, and people can, you can do pretty good stuff with being just simple influencer style videos and stuff. I had a friend who does actually one of the podcasts I helped produce. He owns a chiropractic facility practice, and he had millions of views, because people just love seeing like backs get cracked and stuff like that. He had millions of views just doing cell phone videos. So there's tons of different ways to create things and leaning into technology. And obviously, I think one of the craziest things about video is it's a form of communication that people don't fully take advantage of all the time. And 2020 showed us this very apparently. We had to move, all meetings, church, class, yoga, everything to online. I was literally, I don't know if you've ever heard of those like Jackbox games on like Xbox or PlayStation. We were literally, at the beginning of 2020 when nobody knew what the heck was going on. I literally set up a camera, film my TV screen with these games, and everybody's controller was their phone, and we could play remotely through Zoom. So how we converse is different, how we communicate and everything like that, and how you can reach people. And video is such a new thing that our brain hasn't necessarily evolved to recognize the difference of in-person communication versus video. So your brain, on a very fundamental level, the lizard brain part of it still thinks that, you're actually having conversation with somebody, when you're not actually in the same room with them, and then how much time it can save instead of having to go to coffee shops all the time. It's like, hey, I can jump off a meeting here and have another one in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's, how everything's changed just in how we communicate. And it's just the future, I remember seeing Star Trek and they had like little video phones and stuff like that, or like the telecoms, and those became Bluetooth, earpieces and all this stuff. So it's like, the future's now, and now we got AI, and that's the buzzword of everything, but that's going to change drastically. So like, how are we incorporating that into, how we do things, So yeah, it's just how communication over time has even changed, even outside of the art or the promotional aspect of it, video is the future.
That's for sure. And AI powered with video is some of the most powerful content, I think.
And terrifying.
And terrifying. Yeah, it is, because man, you can make some smart people look like they are absolute geniuses. So,
yeah, exactly. That, or even, who knows if you could, change what, you take a deep fake of Putin and put it online. It's like, how do we know he actually said that? Is World War III kicking off now? It's like, I think Vidyard was the service we used forever to embed actual videos into emails, and they've just grown so much. They've introduced AI caricatures, so they actually have avatars of these AI bots that you can really click, and they look kind of like the videos that we shoot on the green screen and stuff like that. It looks almost like a person, and we're since it's become really mainstream, 2 years into this, and like the technological evolution now is down to like 3 months, where it used to be, a couple of years, and now then it was 6 months, and now it's 3 months. So, and it's going to develop its own self, right? So you train it to develop its own, its intelligence. So it's just going to not stop steamrolling, and it's crazy what it can do.
Yeah, you just hope I guess we're still as humans behind it, still behind the AI part. Hopefully it doesn't take us all over, but
right. Terminator style. Right.
yeah, exactly. That's what people are thinking nowadays.
It's possible. I mean, it's not impossible. Hopefully there's a good kill switch though that somebody has. Like, I mean, I think even the guy who did OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, like whenever he stepped down, he was like, we went too fast. It's like the Jurassic Park thing, the scene where they're sitting around the table having dinner before they actually go out and see the actual park. And Dr. Malcolm, Dr. Ian Malcolm, he's the chaos theorist. And he's like, you never stop to think if you should, because you're so worried about if you could,
That's so true. Well, that's interesting. I didn't ever hear about the guy who started Chat GPT saying that, because
OpenAI. He was the OpenAI CEO. If you check him out, he's gone on podcasts or interviews and talked about how he's just like, they need to stop.
Wow, that's kind of concerning a little bit when the guy creates it. Yeah, it's like that's a good example with that Jurassic Park scene. That's funny.
Yeah,
I like that one.
No, I mean, because you end up playing God, right? I mean, eventually, we're going to literally make life. It's going to be digital, but I mean, with what Boston Dynamics is doing paired with the AI stuff, I mean, these things. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie I, Robot, but I mean, that literally is the future. It's like between that and then the headsets. Like, I mean, we're going to be, probably living in these things. They'll be walking around for us, and we're just going to sit in a recliner. You know what I mean? Oh, I need to go to the store, but I don't feel like moving. So it's gonna be like a mix of like what? Surrogates, Wall-E, and iRobot.
Surrogates, yeah. Oh, and iRobots. Oh man, I hope well, I don't know if I hope we're around for that or not.
I mean, it'll be in our lifetime for sure. It's coming. Like, I don't know if you've seen what the Boston Dynamics robots can do, but they're already to a point where, like, even 10 years ago they couldn't get to. Now it's like that's wild. They're training them. They have this dog version of it. They're training for the military, and that thing alone is terrifying. So, drones and robots are definitely going to be the actual foot force for the future, but the fodder will still be nukes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess when I think of robots, I'm like, nice robots, right?
Right. I mean, hopefully
ones that like this marketing company, that this guy, he's got pens. They're robots that they write with an actual ballpoint pen.
Wow.
And stuff like that. You're just those are nice robots though.
Yeah, exactly.
You want a friend, right?
The ones that help build the cars, or the ones you see have like cameras for like the red carpet and stuff like that. Those are great robots. It's the ones that become Skynet that are the terrifying ones. But who knows? I mean, I don't know if that's going to be the. Hopefully, it doesn't get there. But I can't. I have no crystal ball.
Yeah, and that's probably as I start to open my mind, I'm like, I never thought that'd be a possibility in today's world, but wow, it really is. It really is, unfortunately. But hopefully,
you're not being able to tell what's real. So let's get away from the dark path here. Let's get back.
Yeah, we got no. Yeah, well, we could talk about. Let's talk about probably. So, you've had a lot of impact. You've had impact on our business, like I was saying in the beginning. Awesome. Yeah, the videos that you've produced for me, I mean, you get them back in like a couple weeks. They're already done. I don't have to do anything. I just save it, upload it. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. And most of the time, you announce these little events that you got, and the value, I think it's, what is it, $397?
Yeah. I mean, they're super affordable.
I mean, that
for some businesses that might be a lot, but I mean, a $10,000 marketing budget can go a lot farther with $400 videos versus, $10,000 for one video, because we kind of, for these types of videos that we create at these video day events that you're referencing, I mean, the industry standard is $1,000, $1,500, $2,500 per video, for like everything that happens in it. And we've got it down to where we can still be profitable at less than $400. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty cool little process and service.
Yeah. And that takes a lot of like passion and like I said, there's nobody out there that does what you do or you all do in terms of video to consumer, video to business that fast and in such an affordable manner. Because I mean, would I think yours would be a lot more pricey because I've seen stuff out there, but
Yeah.
what you do is you do tend to, you still are profitable, and you're marketing yourself to, small businesses, and people start to get to know you throughout St. Louis, and people
Yeah.
see your videos and they ask me, "Hey, who did that video
Yeah.
that you just did?" And I'm like, "Oh, Chris,
Right.
Connect Video." So yeah, we've already talked about kind of the future and what you envision. So is there any like story that really jumps out to you that, where you could say that video truly made like a huge impact?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, obviously, we're on a mission to help and save small businesses because these corporations keep coming in and all that kind of stuff. And if people don't adapt to the times, then you're going to get left behind, or your competitor is going to start doing it, and you're not, if they're scared to get on camera or what have you. But yeah, no, I mean, there's been several instances. So, for example, this med spa that we did some videos with, because like the video day videos are like the simplest type of video we can create. They're affordable, they're quick, they're efficient, they're all that kind of stuff, right? But we can make very elaborate videos, almost film grade. And this med spa, one example there, we went out and shot a bunch of videos for them. They were on something called our video partner program, which is like we're literally their video partner. We're not just doing like one-off stuff. We actually put a comprehensive plan together, and we actually do the distribution aspect and do run ads to like their customer avatar and stuff like that to, if they're trying to do, promotional stuff, then we bring in more customers or leads, the first week that we started running the first video ad, I got a call from the owner of the med spa. She said, shut off the ads. And I was like, oh God, what's wrong? She goes, I have to hire people. We're getting way too many bookings. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a very good problem to have, because you sounded very upset on the phone initially. And my empathic response was like, oh no. But then she's like, I have to hire people because we have too much business coming in. And I was like, and I spent $150 on ads, for like a $900 video or whatever. And they just booked that much work out of it. And it's like, all right, cool. So you spent $1,000 and got 8x return. It's like, that's awesome.
that type of stuff, I love that. And not only are you making an impact by that video, creating that video, but now you've just created jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a very good point. Yeah.
I mean, you don't even realize the trickle down effect of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
idea, why we call it connect video, is we like to connect a lot of things, right?
Yeah. So. And I've noticed, even your kind of journey, your names and your businesses, it's all kind of run together a little bit.
Sure.
It's no coincidence for sure. That stuff, when you have the proper alignment, you seem to be successful in what you do, and you're very successful. And I know Nick and Vanessa, your partners, are also extremely successful. I remember when they first started meeting with them, they're awesome people as well. But the whole thing where you can travel around with people, and it's like a news crew. Like, I mean, you could literally be like the news, like they're the reporter, you're the production team, and you'll follow them for the day. And I think that's pretty cool too, wherever they're at, and you'll set up shop for them, etc.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because we do 99% off site. I mean, that's why the video day stuff came out of the fact that right when the pandemic hit, we had an office over in Clayton. I don't know if you ever went there with your dad or not, but we had an office over in Clayton. And then whenever the pandemic hit, we took a vote, and we were like, well, do we keep our leases coming up? Do we keep this, or do we let the chips fall as they may and see where commercial real estate is on the back of this? Because Nick is a very intelligent person. That's another thing, is never be the smartest person in the room. So it's good to partner with people who are smarter than you. And he was like, I've been following this thing since it was released in China back in like November. And he's like, I don't think this is a 3-week or 3-month thing. He's like, I think this is going to be a much more like crazy thing. So with that, he had the foresight to help us make that decision to not go with the lease. And then we shut it down. And then when everything kind of came back in like May of 2021, we developed the mobile studio concept, right? And then came the video days now, and we can just set up shop. And that's why we have so many different satellite locations that we operate out of. And another reason we can make them even more affordable, because we have a little bit less overhead on, having a production space or what have you.
Yeah. And that's, and it's not like the quality's any lower or anything like that. It's you're just picking up shop and just having the necessary high quality equipment to film this
Take
stuff.
Other places,
Yeah, I do remember that, Clayton. It was on the second floor, I think, right? It was second floor, and it was like a brick
products business.
Yeah, a brick building, and that's interesting. I forget about COVID. Like, so I was pre-COVID when I first met Nick and Vanessa, and we
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah,
we were there, and wow, yeah. So we're glad Nick chose that route for you guys because that was smart of him. But so do you have any like upcoming projects or like anything you guys are excited or to do, or just continue down the same stuff you're doing, which is obviously changing lives and making impacts in small businesses?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're just really cranking on these video day concepts. Realistically, I don't know when this is going to necessarily air, but in the St. Louis area, we're actually just reaching out to tons of like heavily influential people to come try out the process because it's so new and innovative. Actually, the business coach in my Business Networking International group, my BNI, he, we did a 1-to-1 and he was looking at everything. So he's like, there's 5 different types of things that businesses follow under. And like the last one is a disruptor. And fundamentally what that means is you adopt technology, processes, and systems to invent something new. And at first he thought we were more of like, oh, we're just changing, some stuff around. But he's like, no, you guys are actually inventing something entirely new. You're taking all this stuff that's out there and distilling it down into like something that's a brand new concept, So the whole video day idea and everything like that is very unique and special to us. And like, of course, eventually there's going to be copycat stuff like that. But the ones who make the biggest, strike are usually the ones that it's remembered by, right? Like nobody goes, hey, let me get some lip balm. They say, let me get some chapstick, even though there's a billion different businesses that make that, you don't say, hey, I need a nose cloth or whatever. You say Kleenex, So it's like, the ones who usually kind of innovate something or, are the disruptors are the ones that it kind of go for. So we're just really excited about that. We're just making sure that it has legs, that it does resonate with the community. But St. Louis is a little bit difficult to get people on board with just because some trends, like if this was on the coast, it'd be freaking blowing up, for that price point and everything like that. We probably have to charge more just because of inflation out there and everything like that. But relative pricing, it'd be blowing up right now, just because of how it works and everything. And then, it'd be super innovative. But over here, takes a little bit longer for some marketing trends to get in. I was actually talking to a girl who went to college here, and she got a job with this mental health facility, and she had some marketing background, stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, I just brought all the ideas that have been working out. She's like 23 or something. It's like, I just brought all the ideas that are working out in California, and they're like super innovative to all these people out here. So she just crushed it with that, But yeah, so it's and then people just are scared to get on camera. It's been better since 2020 because everybody's kind of used to, seeing themselves a little bit more now. But people still hate glass and plastic for some reason. It takes a minute to get over.
That whole, trying to get over yourself on camera is tough. And I'll say the only reason why I even have a podcast is because I was confident enough to get on camera.
Yeah.
And it helped with having an individual like yourself and Nick and Vanessa to kind of support and help pull you along because it is uncomfortable in the beginning.
Sure.
I can see why. But once you start doing it, it becomes fun. It becomes like a passion, and it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter how many people listen. You're just you're there to connect, like you say, and that's in your business. And when you connect, a lot of times things fall into place and success happens.
Right. No, that's the best thing that we get after a shoot is like people are like, because typically these are the first professional videos that many people are creating, which is great because that's kind of where we want them to start is doing one of these because it's the same process, but it's like the appetizer version of like our video production process, right? You can make these all day long, or you can slowly graduate into bigger production. But the best review we always get is afterwards. People are like, "Oh, you made that so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I came in here nervous. I was scared. I never used a teleprompter before. But then by the time we're done coaching them and everything like that, like that was super easy. Like, I mean, 95% of people literally say that afterwards. That I was scared to be on camera and stuff like that. And the one thing that everybody, the two things that everybody says is like, what do I do with my hands? And then secondly, I hate the sound of my own voice. And the reason for that is because the way that you hear yourself is not how anybody else hears you. It's only how you hear yourself. Cause all this, all your air and everything like that is reverberating through your nasal cavities and all that kind of stuff. The best way to tell, like, this is a cool test. So hopefully people do this after they hear it, is you take your hands and you actually put them in front of your ears, and that's more so how you sound to other people versus how, and then you take them away. It's like, oh, that's how I sound to myself. So it's so funny. People are like, I hate the sound of my voice. And it's like, well, you're the only person on planet Earth who hears it like that, you know?
That's pretty interesting. So put your hands in front of your ears and
just like this and talk. And that's how you sound to other people.
That's pretty neat. I'll have to do that when I get off of this.
Right. Yeah.
Headphones.
It's a weird experience. The first time I did it, I was like, oh my gosh.
That because it is. Everyone says that. It's like you immediately play a video with somebody in the room and they're like, they hear their voice and they're like, turn me off. You know what I mean? People don't like to hear themselves speak because they, as you say, they internalize what they hear rather than what other people hear. And that's kind of like our thoughts. Like we internalize, false beliefs all the time, and they stem out of our brain, and then we think that people are thinking them, and then we basically make them a reality.
Yeah. You materialize them, right? Yeah, you manifest it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it is true. But yeah, so I appreciate you coming on here and
for sure.
And doing that. If anybody wants to connect with them, I know you guys got tons of social media links. Obviously connectvids.com. I'm on the email list. Anytime, I get an email from you, it says, hey, we're having a video day. Obviously you have the full-time stuff. At any point you can sign on or find out more information, but those video days are what really impact me, and I stay on your email list. And when I get emails for that stuff, I jump on it right away. Yeah, you've definitely taken advantage of it more than most people have, because for a while there, these things were like more of a loss leader. They were a marketing thing. And then because they were like $99 for years, as we kind of really fleshed out the system and the process and all that kind of stuff. And, it's basically like, hey, we're losing money on these things, but it was a marketing thing. And then people we found out loved it. So we're like, well, I guess let's make it a core offer and, kind of blow it up, because, eventually, hopefully we're having 3 of these a week in 3 different locations, and then if we can go, metro area, Nashville, Chicago, KC, and then see if we can't take over the world. Connecting. That's right. Connect the world one state at a time. Yeah. I like that. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
Making an impact and continuing your video skills. So I appreciate it. And we'll have to do this again.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love it. So thanks everybody for watching. And thank you, Mr. Blake, for having me on.
Absolutely. And don't forget, let's elevate together.
Hey.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review and tell your friends about the show. Until next time,